Men in Black 2 stars Tommy Lee Jones, Will Smith, Rip Torn, Lara Flynn Boyle, Rosario Dawson and Johnny Knoxville. The movie is written by Barry Fanaro and Robert Gordon, based on the comic by Lowell Cunningham. Cinematography is by Greg Gardiner and music is by Danny Elfman. Men in Black 2 is directed by Barry Sonnenfeld, the man who directed The Addams Family 1 and 2, Get Shorty, Wild Wild West and the Men in Black movies 1, 2 and 3. What's the story? In the pre-title sequence, Peter Graves, playing himself, presents Mysteries in History episode 27. This is an old TV show with a limited budget that recreates mystery events. Peter talks about the Men in Black and how they thwarted a plan by the evil Queen Selena when she came to Earth looking for the light of Zartha. Over the title credits, a cone-shaped spaceship passes through the galaxy and destroys half a dozen random planets with its powerful laser. The spaceship's ultimate destination is Earth in July 2002. The spaceship lands at night in a park outside the city of New York, but when a dog arrives we get a better sense of perspective. This superpowered spaceship is less than a metre high. A tiny plant with a snake-like tail emerges from the ship. It slithers on the floor and stops when it comes across a discarded magazine. The wind blows the pages and stops when there is a double-page advert for Victoria's Secret lingerie. The plant grows and transforms itself into the Victoria's Secret model. This is Selena, played by Lara Flynn Boyle. In a case of unfortunate timing, a mugger attacks Selena and drags her into some bushes, but this is only bad news for the mugger because Selena eats him. MIB Agent J, played by Will Smith, and his new partner, Agent T, played by Patrick Warburton, are on the streets of New York. For some reason they stop to chat to a flower poking through a subway grill. This is apparently an alien called Jeff, who is out of his normal designated area. When T gets aggressive and kicks the flower, Jeff reveals himself to be a giant worm 600 feet long. The flower is just an antler of some sort. Jeff crashes through the sidewalk and then back down into the subway tunnels. Jay jumps onto Jeff's back and rides him like a rodeo bull. Jay tries to sedate Jeff with drugs and a syringe, but they have little effect. When Jeff catches up to the rear of a subway train, Jay jumps aboard. Jay asks the people to move to the next carriage, but they ignore him, until Jeff starts to eat the carriage. When Jeff finally stops chasing the subway train, Jay neuralises, that is, wipes the memories of, everyone on the train. Later, Jay and T have some pie in a diner. T doesn't seem to like working for the MIB. T is an ex-Marine and he wants to be a hero, but while the MIB do heroic things, they don't want anyone to know about it. Jay neuralises his third partner since K. Somewhere across the city, Scrad, played by Johnny Knoxville, returns to his rundown apartment. Scrad is an alien with a second, smaller head called Charlie. Scrad's argument with Charlie is interrupted when Selena appears. This time she has more clothes on. It seems that Scrad has discovered that a local pizza parlour owner might know where the light of Zartha is. Selena and Scrad arrive at the pizza parlour, owned by an alien called Ben, played by Jack Keller. When Selena chokes Ben for information, Ben tells her that the light will leave the planet the following night. Frustrated, Selena slashes Ben in two. His fake human suit drops to the floor and Ben evaporates into light. All of this is witnessed by a supposedly human employee hiding in the kitchen. This is Laura Vasquez, played by Rosario Dawson. Later that night, Jay arrives at MIB headquarters. From the way Jay orders everyone around, we get the impression that Jay is now the top MIB agent. Also working at MIB headquarters is the alien pug dog called Frank from the first movie, voiced by Tim Blaney. Jay goes to see the MIB leader called Zed, played by Rip Torn. Zed is worried that Jay keeps neuralising his partners. This includes his partner from the end of the previous movie, Dr. Laurel Weaver, played by Linda Fiorentino. Zed tells Jay to investigate the alien murder at the pizza parlour with his new partner, Frank the Pug. For some reason Jay doesn't get to drive around in a 1984 Ford Crown Victoria like all the other agents. Jay gets his own shiny new Mercedes. During the journey, Frank irritates Jay by singing pop tunes from the 1970s and sticking his head out the window like a dog. When Jay and Frank arrive, the pizza parlour is already filled with MIB agents. Laura is overwhelmed by the situation, so Jay takes her for some pie at the diner he was at less than an hour ago. Jay tells Laura that aliens exist and he will find out who murdered Ben, because Ben was her friend. Jay goes to neuralise Laura, but his attraction to her makes him stop. Next, Jay and Frank arrive at the part where Selena's spaceship has been discovered. When Jay calls Zed, Zed wonders why Selena is back on Earth looking for the light of Zartha, because it is not supposed to be on Earth. Zed wants to ask the MIB agent that defeated Selena 25 years before, but that is no longer possible. Jay asks why, is he dead? Zed replies, kind of, he works for the Postal Service. It turns out that the agent that defeated Selena the last time she was on Earth was Kay, played by Tommy Lee Jones. Jay goes to see Kay at work, who is now the postmaster of Truro, Massachusetts. Kay does not remember Jay because he neuralised himself at the end of the first movie. When Jay has no luck convincing Kay that he is an ex-MIB agent, Jay follows Kay into the backroom sorting office. When all the staff in there reveal themselves to be weird-looking aliens, Kay is convinced that Jay must be telling the truth. Jay promises to show Kay who he really is if he returns to MIB headquarters. Note, quite sadly we learn that Kay's wife has left him. Jay and Kay arrive back at MIB headquarters. Everyone welcomes Kay back, and some are in awe of his legendary status as the most feared man in the galaxy. Zed is busy talking to Michael Jackson, playing himself, on the overhead TV screen. Once finished, Zed tells Jay to give Kay a gun, a suit, and to take him to the deneuralising machine to get his memory back. Although it doesn't sound very clever to be giving anyone a gun before they get their memory back. Kay gets the tiny gun that Jay had in the first movie, a suit, and then he enters the deneuraliser room. Meanwhile, Selena and Scrad are also at MIB headquarters posing as intergalactic tourists. Selena sets off her snake-like fingers and they swarm over the entire office. All the MIB agents and the aliens are incapacitated, except Frank. The attack triggers an alarm and the deneuraliser room is filled with water for some reason. A wider shot shows the room looks like a toilet basin. Kay and Jay are flushed away to safety on the street outside. The problem is that Kay still has not had his memory restored. As they cannot go back to MIB headquarters with Selena there, Jay turns to the black market. This leads him to contact local alien scoundrel Jack Jeebs, played by Tony Shalhoub. Just as in the first movie, Jay puts pressure on Jeebs to help him out. Of course, Jeebs has the parts Jay needs to put a deneuraliser together. Back at MIB headquarters, Selena releases some prisoners the MIB have in their cells. Selena is keen to know what Kay knows about the Light of Zartha, so she announces that whoever brings Kay to her will rule Earth. In Jeebs' basement, Kay gets deneuralised by a rather unlikely collection of junk. Once done, Kay gets frustrated that his memory does not return instantly, so he storms off. But as soon as Kay is gone, Jay and Jeebs are attacked by Scrad and Selena's cronies. Luckily, Kay returns with his memories restored and he makes short work of Selena's cronies. Outside, Kay wonders what happened to the standard MIB car. Jay refers to the 1987 Ford Crown Victoria as old and busted, whereas his new car is the new hotness. If Jay was hoping that Kay would be able to explain where the Light of Zartha is, he is disappointed because Kay cannot remember. This information was removed when Kay neuralised himself 25 years ago. Instead, Kay must follow clues to help him find the Light of Zartha. They start at the pizza parlour. Here Kay finds a key to a locker at Grand Central Station. Laura is also there, and Kay is not happy that Laura has not been neuralised, as per procedure. In order to keep her safe, Laura is taken to an apartment where the worm creatures, called annelids, live. Thankful, Laura kisses Jay before he leaves. A romance is developing here. At Grand Central Station, Kay opens his locker. The locker is populated by hundreds of tiny hairy aliens with antlers that treat Kay as a god. A discussion with the tiny aliens leaves Kay with a digital watch and an old video library card. Jay and Kay get to the video library shop. After talking to the girl on the desk, the manager arrives, Newton, played by David Cross. The last video Kay reserved was the Mysteries in History episode we saw at the beginning of the movie. Kay watches the video and this segues into Kay's actual memory of the event, in which Selena kills Ambassador Loriana and then gives chase to a rocket launched by the MIB that supposedly had the Light of Zartha in it. Before Loriana dies, she gives Kay a special charm bracelet. Jay phones Laura to ask if she has a bracelet. Yes, she does, and it's glowing. Jay then calls Frank, but Selena answers doing an impression of Frank. This is how she finds out about Laura's location. When Jay and Kay arrive to collect Laura, they discover that the worms have been chopped in half and Laura is gone. Luckily, the worms are not dead because they are able to stick themselves back together again. Jay, Kay and the worms head to Kay's old apartment, which has a new family living in it. Kay opens a secret room behind a wall that contains an arsenal of weapons. After collecting what they need, Jay neuralises the family living in the apartment. Jay, Kay and the worms gain access to MIB headquarters, but Selena has an armed robot on guard that looks like a trash can. When the trash can shoots in all directions, the worms get scared and they disappear into the air conditioning, never to be seen properly again. As Kay goes to meet Selena, Jay attempts to rescue Laura from being launched into space in a small space capsule. Preventing Jay from doing this is another alien called Jara, played by John Alexander. At first it looks like Jara is very tall, but this is only because Jara has another 3 mini versions of himself under his cloak, who all float around on mini hovercrafts. Jay is attacked by all the versions of Jara, yet Jay manages to destroy all of them and stop Laura from being launched into space. Meanwhile, Kay is having a much easier time. He shoots Selina and she explodes. But of course, Selina is not totally dead because there is a small piece of her left and it soon grows and multiplies back into Selina again. Kay tells Jay that they have to get Laura off the planet before midnight or she will explode and take the planet with her. This sounds a bit counterintuitive, bearing in mind the last sequence involved Jay trying to stop Laura being launched into space. Everyone gets into Jay's car and they speed away to a location Kay has in mind. Selina chases Jay's car in a spaceship. The famous red button is pressed and Jay's car changes into a rocket. The chase goes down the streets of New York and around Times Square. Jay has a plan to lose Selina. He takes control of the rocket car and flies it into a subway tunnel. Selina follows. It doesn't seem like a very smart plan at first, but Jay slams on the brakes and Selina flies straight into Jeth's mouth and gets eaten. With Selina gone, Jay's car lands on a building rooftop downtown. Kay tells Laura that she is Ambassador Lorana's daughter and she is the light of Zartha. Now that she is of age, she can return to rule her home planet. Note, there is some sort of hint that Laura may also be Kay's daughter, but this is never followed up on. A mysterious light in the sky illuminates a nearby structure, which then changes into a spaceship. Obviously Laura has to leave, but she is sad to leave Jay behind and vice versa. However, before Laura can leave, Selina turns up yet again, having just destroyed Jeff. As Laura takes off in her spaceship, Kay and Jay take bigger guns from the trunk of Jay's car. They shoot the giant snake version of Selina into atoms, which provides a nice firework backdrop. With the crisis over, Jay wonders how they are going to cover up their spaceship chase across the city. However, this is not a problem. Kay puts on his sunglasses and points to the Statue of Liberty. It turns out that the torch she carries is a giant neuralizer that can wipe the memories of the entire city. Some days later, in the MIB locker room, Kay has moved the small hairy aliens from Grand Central Station into Jay's locker. While this is supposed to cheer Jay up, he feels it wrong to keep these aliens in his locker. However, Kay demonstrates that everything is not what it seems when he opens a door in their locker room that opens out into an alien version of Grand Central Station. The inference here is that the entire Earth is stuck inside an alien locker. Issues. My main issue with this movie is that it tears apart the happy ending from the first movie in order to bring Kay back into the story. I hate it when movies do that. After all his years of service, Kay earned the right to be happy and live with his long lost girlfriend, so having this taken away just leaves a bitter taste in the mouth. Of course, Kay had to be brought back, but it didn't need to be at the expense of his previous happy ending. There is also a lack of respect shown to Dr. Laurel Weaver. She is a main character in the first movie, and she even saves Jay and Kay from the book and becomes a woman in black herself. Not only do we not see her in this movie, but her importance is also reduced to just being one of the many partners that Jay neuralises because he doesn't get on with them, or they are not suitable to the job. It would have been far more dramatic to have killed Dr. Weaver off in some way, and thus give Jay the burden of guilt and a reason for not wanting to get close to his new partners, etc. Why are all the MIB agents apart from Jay portrayed as stupid? They were all intelligent and competent in the first movie. Are they now stupid just to make Will Smith look better? When Jay arrives at MIB headquarters, he orders everyone around like he owns the place. Kay didn't do this, and neither does Zed, so why does Jay have to? Also, why does Jay get his own Mercedes car when everyone else has to drive around in a black 1987 Ford Crown Victoria? There's a deneuralising machine now? How is it possible to unwipe someone's memory? Knowing that someone can now be deneuralised, it devalues the concept of having your memory wiped in the first place. And, if Kay's memory is restored, why doesn't Kay remember what happened to the light of Zartha? This awkward plot device contradicts itself immediately. Why does Selina want the light of Zartha? What is she going to do with it? Let's not forget that Selina has a spaceship that can destroy planets. What could be more powerful than that? So what if Laura makes it back to her home planet and rules as queen? Selina can destroy Laura's whole planet if she wanted to anyway. What happened to Scrad? The last time we see him is in Jeeb's basement. The worms claim that Scrad chopped them up, but we don't see this. It's like Scrad walked off set one day and didn't come back, so they introduced Jara as a replacement second in command. Speaking of Scrad, the CGI for his second head, Charlie, is not the best. If Jay had bigger guns in the trunk of his car, why was there any need for Kay to visit his old home to get more guns? Review. Men in Black 2 is a mediocre sequel to the superior first movie. The plot is contrived and many scenes are weak imitations of the original. But it's not all the writer's fault. Having watched the first movie, the audience can no longer be shocked because they are expecting the unexpected, and this raises the bar too high. My rating, 83%.
Hi, this is Mike Kendall, and thanks for watching my video. I'd like to know what you thought of this movie. Was it a hit? Was it a flop? Let me know your thoughts and rating in the comments section. You can also tell me what other movies you'd like to see reviews for. Please like and subscribe, and remember to hit that notification bell for all my new videos. Sharing these videos on Facebook and Twitter would help me out a lot. I'd sure appreciate it. Don't forget to check out the other videos on my channel. We're adding more all the time. I'm off to see a movie. You have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.